Well, we've got Kunal on the wall, and what we are discussing essentially is that first the fall and then the rise. Now we are using this entire 1st August to 5th August for benchmarking purposes, and why are we using that for benchmarking purposes is because that's the time when we saw this nasty global brutal sell-off. It almost appeared like a synchronized sell-off where everything was coming down in the same vein, so to speak. Things were on the butcher block. It appeared that a financial Armageddon had happened, but from there the recovery has been very smart. So Kunal, Nikkei fell 18%. In hindsight, you say that Nikkei actually acted like a penny stock.
Yeah, it acted like a penny stock. It was on the verge of a bear market. 20% is a bear market threshold, which we typically call.
So from a bear market, it is back to a roaring bull market.
The way these markets have recovered, I think, is phenomenal, because after falling 18% in 3, 4, 5 trading sessions, we generally expect that the recovery becomes a lot more shallow. But after that 18% correction, many of these indices have recovered almost the entire sell-off which these indices have done. So whether it's Nikkei, whether it's Nasdaq, you look at what happened to DAX and CAC, many of these indices globally, US markets, emerging markets, European markets, all of them have recovered. The only case in point is Nifty so far. For our markets, we are still 1 to 1.5% away from that 1st August highs, which means there could be a very strong case from here on that our markets would get in line of the outperformance from here.
Let's spend a minute on that, because what we're trying to establish here is that the sell-off happened, everything came down, markets have recovered, and if you look at indices like, let's say, Brazil, they're 7% higher than that August low, right? August high. 1st August high, right? Yeah. So from the point of fall versus the recovery, it's a classic V, but for Brazil, that V is actually higher, it's extending, right? Now for Dow, it's almost at that point from where the sell-off started.
Exactly.
Hong Kong, underperforming market, has recovered.
Exactly.
Right? India is a performing market which is yet to recover.
Yes.
Which means that a new high on the Nifty is coming soon. After that, could we go the Brazil way or could we go the Hong Kong way?
I hope let's go with the Brazil way. But this brings in a very important point, that since we are into a global market phenomena, the sell-off was because of the way the global markets behaved in the first week of August. I think we should be on course of coming back into alignment with global markets. And the best part was, on a YTD performance, we are still significantly above than many of the global markets were, even when the indices were going through a sell-off. So over the next 3-6 months, I think we should be coming back at par as well as outperforming the global markets.
And if we make a new high this time, we'll be breaking a wall.
Yes.
Right? It's a hard wall.
Yes.
And when you break that glass ceiling or make that, that wall, so to speak, then you really go past through it. You shoot past through it.
There have been 2 V-shaped corrections for our markets in just the last 3 months, whether it's the election day, where there was a very sharp sell-off, the budget day, where the sell-off was, of course, not as intense on the election day, but then again, those 2 days indicated that the markets have made a higher bottom, and those bottoms have not been tested. So which means what we are putting in case over here is that if we break past about this 25,100 mark, which was the previous high, we could have maybe solidified or made a very strong base for Nifty as well.
That's a great point, and that's the takeaway, Aisha, that we've not made a new high. Other performing markets like Nasdaq and Brazil, they've already made a new high, and they're above that they're above that previous crossover level. Which means that Indian markets, if global connection is anything to go by, are on course to make a new high and perhaps extend the gains beyond that.